What do you see?
Many Evansville children can tell you childhood stories about going to Mesker Park Zoo. There are many memorable things about Mesker Zoo. Mesker has its amazing exhibits that you're not likely to forget. If you have a few free hours and about $20, you'd be in for a day of fun at Mesker Zoo. Gilmore Haney opened Evansville's Mesker Park Zoo in 1928 with publicity help from Carl K. Schnitt, a local cartoonist. Initially, the zoo opened with 2 lion cubs, some antelope, and 1 elephant. The zoo's 10 major exhibits include Amazonia, North America, Tropic America, the Discovery Center, the Lemur Forest, the African Rift, the Klee Building, Asia and Australia, the Children's Enchanted Forest, and African Panorama.
The zoo was started in 1928. Some local businessmen were interested in moving. There were some animals over in Garvin Park, and they were interested in starting something over here on Mesker Park. The first exhibit was an exhibit of lions, pair of lions that came to the zoo, and that's kind of how it got started. Later, the Evansville Zoological Society was created to help support the effort of the community to build a better zoo. Well, Mesker Park Zoo is unique to Evansville, Indiana. There's only one Mesker Park Zoo in the country. Mesker, who was someone who lived in Evansville, donated the land to the city, along with the golf course, Helford Park, and some other properties. The amphitheater was donated, that area was donated by Mr. Mesker. And that's how it got its name, Mesker Park Zoo and Botanic Garden. Well, I chose the Mesker Park Zoo about 6 years ago. Their director had resigned, and they were looking for new leadership. In my career, I'd already been in the zoo profession for a little over 20 years, and was interested in being a zoo director, and began to look for opportunities across the country. And Mesker Park popped up, and I came and interviewed, and I saw the Amazonia Tropical Building, and I thought it was very well done for the size of the zoo, and thought that the zoo staff was very interested in getting better, and I thought I could help, so that landed me here. Well, number one, it's a botanical garden as well, so we focus on plants, and Mesker its topography is a little different than other zoos in that it has hills and slopes, and sometimes a little challenge to walk around, but the slopes add to the zoo. But other than that, it's a 50-acre medium-sized zoo, and which is similar to a number of zoos in the country. Well, the zoo itself is a conservation effort. We kind of consider the animals in the collections as ambassadors of their ecosystem and their kind. And we try to develop messaging around that. We have a number of species that are considered in the species survival plan. So some of our signage, you'll see the acronym SSP, which is a program that is a part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums that is a focused program for breeding and centering the conservation efforts around that species. We also are integral in wolf conservation, particularly the Mexican gray wolf. We also do a lot of bat conservation work. We have a bat biologist on staff. And we also are involved in a pine marten release project up in Michigan, where our farmer veterinarian served as the research vet for a team of individuals in Michigan that were assessing the property or the land for future release of animals that would be translocated from one part of Michigan to another. So those projects we're still pretty involved in. And then we fund a variety of other small projects, one of which would be the International Rhino Foundation. So those dollars go to rhinoceros conservation. We should be actively pursuing opportunities to educate our visitors. And as we make decisions for the collection, we try to use that statement to help with our decision making, so that the things that we do kind of meet that ideal scenario, that ideal mission, so that we can make good decisions for the institution. I think there's one thing to see a two-dimensional image on a TV screen opposed to seeing a live animal, hearing it, smelling it, observing it interact with its environment. Not everybody's going to have an opportunity to go to Africa or South America to see an animal, and I think that's very important. It also is a safe environment for people to experience nature in a more controlled fashion. So then if we can stimulate an interest, they might take that interest out and broaden it by going to a national park or just going out in their backyard and looking for critters out amongst their backyard. So I think the zoo is a focal point for wildlife and conservation, and it's safe under a controlled environment, and it helps create awareness for what's going on with animals. Some of the changes, we opened a new Komodo dragon exhibit, so we have now a big lizard in our collection. We renovated an old aviary. We also opened a rotational exhibit gallery where we renovated an area of the zoo that the caging and structures were really outdated and in bad condition. So we scooped all those out and just opened up a big hall so that once a year I can bring in a new exhibit for the community, so they see something new and exciting every year. In the last year, we finished up our prairie dog exhibit, which we made some modifications there so that animals would have a better environment to live throughout the whole year. We made it deeper. We improved the drainage so that the prairie dogs wouldn't have to deal with saturated ground and water. Hopefully that'll get them really through the winter time, and they can hibernate properly. And then last, which in the next couple of weeks we'll be opening, is our kids play area, which is an area where kids probably under the age of 14 can go and climb on some play structures and just have fun at the zoo and get some exercise by playing on a play set. So those are some of the new things this year.
You're just an animal in the zoo, sitting around feeling persecuted and abused. You're locked up in your body, but I can't quite tell who's looking at who, 'cause I'm an animal, but you're locked up in the zoo. You look at me and I look at you. out and I'm looking in. They're all animals. But your luck's jumping us. You look at me and I look at you. You're just an animal in the zoo. Sitting around feeling persecuted and abused. You're locked up and I'm on the loose. But I can't quite tell who's looking at me. 'Cause I'm an animal. But you're locked up in the zoo. You look at me and I look at you. God made the heaven and the deep blue sea. Man picked the flowers and they grew up the trees. God made the moon and the rain and the sun. Man made the money and the bombs and the guns. So we're all animals. But your love's talking to zoo. But you look at me and I look at you. I'm a prisoner but I got no keys. I'm locked up but I got no chain. But the good guys lose and the bad guys win. That's why you're looking out and I'm looking in. We're all animals. But your love's jumping us. But you look at me and I look at you.
Maybe.
You got it or need help?
Oh, my audio's not happening.
Let's see what's up.
Video's playing, and when I had my earbuds in, I could hear it.
You're locked up and I'm on the loose.
Okay, to start this over. All right. Still gonna record.
Okay. we got
Sorry.
it. No problem.